So the Disney Wish and the Disney Treasure. We could talk for hours about what is similar and different, but when you're a toddler parent, it really only boils down to one factor, and that is the itinerary. So in this video, we're going to break down the differences in itineraries for the Disney Wish and the Disney Treasure so you can figure out what is the best fit for your family. But first, if you're new here, hi, I'm Mara, and welcome to Jetstream Adventures, where I talk about all things Disney parks and cruising for families with little ones. So if that's you, hit subscribe and stick around. And if you're on Instagram, I'm also talking all things Disney parks and cruises there at Jetstream Adventures. And now let's get into it. So there are a lot of things that are the same about the Disney Wish and the Disney Treasure. They're the exact same bones, the same ship. They're both the Triton class series. The Wish is a little bit older. It came out in 2022. And the Treasure's a little bit newer. It came out in 2024. Theming's a little bit different. The Wish is dubbed the Disney Princess cruise ship. Cinderella is its statue in the lobby. The staterooms are princess themed. The unique sit-down restaurant on the ship is Arendelle, themed after Frozen. Where on the other hand, Treasure is all about finding your sense of adventure. Aladdin and Jasmine are the statue in the lobby. Characters featured in the staterooms are ones that are interesting worlds. So the theme is a little bit different. But I think both of them are enjoyable. Also, both port out of Port Canaveral, Florida, which is about an hour's distance from Orlando, making it convenient to stay on Disney property the night before and ride a bus in. I did cruise on both the Treasure and the Wish with my 4-year-old and 2-year-old within 3 months of each other. So here's what I noticed. The biggest factor, if you're a toddler parent trying to decide between the Treasure and the Wish, is the itinerary. So let's talk about the Wish's itineraries and the Treasure's itineraries. For the Wish's itinerary, you can do a 3-night or 4-night sailing. 4 nights are going to always be Monday through Friday, and 3 nights are going to always be Friday through Monday. Ports that you stop at will vary a little bit. Usually it's going to be a combination of Nassau, Bahamas, Disney's Castaway Cay, which is their private island, or Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, which is their private beach on the island of Eleuthera in the Bahamas. You're probably going to hit 1 or 2 of those 3 destinations. I have done the 4-night sailing on the Wish, so Monday through Friday, and in 2024, I did it with a 7-month-old and a almost 3-year-old. In 2025, I did it with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Both times with the shorter sailing, I found that people are really trying to pack a lot in these 4 nights. Having been on 5-night and 7-night Disney cruises, I found the 4-night to be the most stressful because you feel like you have to pack so much in during that short time while you're on the ship. You want to go see the characters. You want to experience the pools, but you also want to experience the ports that you're stopping at, especially because you're probably stopping at least one of Disney's beaches. And I feel like with any toddler vacation, it takes a few days to catch up on sleep. For me, the Wish felt really rushed. What can be nice about a Wish cruise is because it's sailing out of Port Canaveral and because it's a shorter sailing, like a 3-night or a 4-night, you can tack on a Walt Disney World trip with a cruise. This is probably your easiest option to do that, a land and sea trip. I tried doing this in my last cruise. I honestly was not a fan of it. Personally, I feel like you get a little bit of each and not enough of either. We did 1 day in Epcot and then 4 nights on the Wish. It was just bad luck that our Epcot day was rain all day, which has never happened to me before at Disney World. It's usually downpour for an hour and then it's fine. It was downpour all the afternoon. And when you're doing a full week at Walt Disney World, that's fine. But because we only had that 1 day, it just felt like a total waste. And then on the cruise side, having recently been on a 7-night cruise and a 5-night cruise, it just felt rushed. It felt like you needed to do more each day to pack everything in, and it just wasn't the vacation vibes that we really wanted. Where I do think the Wish could be a better fit for your family is if this is your first cruise ever or your first Disney cruise, and you do literally want to test the waters. I think this gives you a nice little taste of what Disney Cruise Line has to offer. You can pair it with a Walt Disney World trip. I would do it beforehand, not after, because one, you have to stay overnight anyway, the night before sailing. You should never fly in the day of embarkation day. So why not stay a couple days ahead and do a park day or two? Park days, for me at least, to require more energy. So I'd rather get that out of the way in the beginning of the trip and then relax on the cruise. I know I've just been saying that the Wish cruise was like so hectic and there was so much to do, but really it is less than a park day. Bear that in mind. When we went in 2023 and I had a 7-month-old and a 2-year-old, we flew in the night before, stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, did the 4-night cruise, and then went home. And I felt like that was just enough, having a little baby that was still waking up at night, bringing formula with us and bottles and having to deal with all of that. That was just the right amount of time. So I think especially if you have little toddlers or babies and you're trying to just do like a little getaway, that could be great. So that's where I think the Wish could be a great fit for you and your family. Having the 3-night sailing Friday through Monday is the perfect quick weekend getaway trip. It's also great for locals if you're just driving in. So that's my thoughts on the Wish itineraries. I would love to see the Wish mix it up a little bit and do some longer sailings because I do honestly think it is such a beautiful ship and I would love to spend more time on it, but I don't see myself doing a 3-night or 4-night sailing anytime in the near future. Hopefully Disney Cruise Line switches it up soon. Now, on the other hand, the Disney Treasure does exclusively 7-night sailings that are Saturday through Saturday out of Port Canaveral. And there are 2 itineraries that they alternate. The first is the Eastern Caribbean, and that is British Virgin Islands, US Virgin Islands, and Castaway Cay. The second is the Western Caribbean itinerary, and this hits 4 destinations. You're going to go to Cozumel, Mexico, you're going to go to Jamaica, Grand Cayman, and finally Disney's Castaway Cay. So the Eastern Caribbean itinerary gives you an extra day at sea. The Western Caribbean itinerary gives you an extra port day. As a toddler parent, if you only have young kids, honestly, you might not be taking advantage of all of these port days. So the destinations and the amount of port days versus sea days might not make that much of a difference to you. You're probably not going to be booking an excursion. However, I will say, having been on the Western Caribbean itinerary, which is what we cruised on most recently on the Treasure, Cozumel is a great port to just get out and walk around. The boat pulls up to a walkway that you can get out, and the area of Cozumel that the boat is docked on is very easily walkable. There's lots of shops, restaurants. It's nice to get out and just stretch your legs if you'd like. But port days can also be a great time to just hang out on the ship when it's a little less crowded. Jamaica is another port day that could be really nice just to get out for a little bit, look at the shops, stretch your legs, because the port for Jamaica, the boat pulls right up to the shops. So with us having a veranda room, we were able to just sit on our deck and literally look out at the shops. So that's another one that it's super easy to get off, even just for an hour or so, just to stretch your legs. And then, of course, Castaway Cay is a super easy port to get off of for kids. You don't have to have anything booked, pay for any of the extra rentals, anything like that. You can just get off and enjoy the beach. I was so nervous to take my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old on the 7-night sailing because I was worried it was going to be way too long. I had only been on 4 and 5-night sailings, and I was just anxious about feeling, I don't know, like trapped at sea for a cruise that long. But I was really surprised that we loved the 7-night a lot more because you have this longer time on the ship. Everyone has more time to enjoy different things. So people are more spread out on the ship and they're sleeping in more. For us, it was an easier trip because we just let everyone sleep in every morning. We didn't set alarms. And when we got up, we got up. And we went to the pool or we went to whatever activity we wanted to do. But we really got to catch up on sleep, which was nice because the first night or so is always rough. You know, sleep is terrible. It takes a few nights to really get back on track. So that was really nice. The 7-night sailing is still doable with pairing it with a parks trip. Theoretically, you could just do like a 2-week vacation and do a whole week in Disney World and a whole week on the cruise, if that's what you want to do. That's a long vacation. That's too long for me. But that is something you could do. For us, we stayed in the Animal Kingdom Lodge the night before, and then we took private transportation over to Port Canaveral and then took the ship. So it was 8 nights away from home total. The treasure might be right for you and your family if you are truly looking for a relaxing vacation where you can really settle into a ship and take things slowly, run on toddler time, just take it day by day. I would say don't be intimidated by the longer itinerary. I personally was really surprised at how much more relaxing it was to be on a longer sailing. I also found with the longer sailing, there were a lot more veteran cruisers on the ship. So it was just a different vibe than on the Wish. It was just less rowdy. Everyone was chill. Everyone was so nice. Like at the muster drill, my 2-year-old had gone a few days without napping. And the muster drill was at, I think, 4 p.m., which is like prime nap time. She should have been sleeping. So she screamed for like half an hour. Thankfully, our station was in 1923, which is one of the restaurants, so we could at least sit down. But I felt so awful for everyone who was sitting in there that just had to listen to my toddler screaming for half an hour. But the people who were immediately around us were like so nice, talking with us, trying to give my daughter things to keep her distracted, keep her happy. Just like vibes like that, where everyone's just really sweet and helpful. That just makes vacation so fun. And it's not that anybody on the Wish was like rude to us or that we had any bad experiences. It was just this like feeling of like people knew what they were doing. They knew what they were getting into. Yeah, I guess that's kind of how I would describe it. But definitely different vibes. With the Wish, because it is a shorter sailing, it is a great tester. And some of the parents that we talked to while our kids were playing were first time Disney cruisers. So that's just more of the vibe that we got of a lot of families who were trying Disney Cruise out for the first time, who were in Walt Disney World or had a couple days that they wanted to fly down and try it. That's more of the vibe that we got for the Wish. Honestly, I think you're going to have a great time either way. But what's going to make or break your cruise is knowing what that timeline is going to look like with the itinerary and planning accordingly. So I hope that helps, and I hope you have a great cruise. If you have any questions, please comment below. I would love to help. I do read every comment and respond to them. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button, hit subscribe. I briefly touched on Disney's 2 private beaches, Lookout Cay and Castaway Cay, but in the next video I post, I'm going to be doing the full breakdown. So if you're not already, go ahead and hit subscribe so that video comes up on your queue. And right now, if you're new to the channel, jumping around topics a little bit because I have done a lot of Disney travel over the past few months that I'm covering. So if there's anything specific that you want as far as a video, let me know in the comments. You can shoot an email to me, hi@jetad.co, and I will try to make a video on that because I will be jumping around a lot. Like, for example, I just did a review specifically on the Disney Treasure, but I haven't done a review specifically on the Wish yet. So if you want that, comment below, let me know. I can make that video sooner rather than later. But for now, I'm going to link that Disney Treasure review in the next screen if you haven't watched that yet. And I'll also go ahead and link my full Disneyland guide playlist for families with toddlers. So if you haven't watched any of those videos, you can binge the whole thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.